All right, this is our project, our 1-point perspective comic book word. And you guys are going to be creating this artwork. It needs to have 4 characters, either 4 letters or 3 letters and a punctuation mark. You need to have your background detail. You need to have these little extra little detail of some sort, and then a background color. And your color pencil needs to be burnished, okay? You need to have highlights and lowlights on your 3D letters. So in this video, I'm going to go over creating the sketch, how to put in your letters with the 1-point perspective, the border, and your detail sketch. And then from here, you guys, the color pencil part should be review, and you should be able to do that on your own. Okay, so we're gonna start off with our border. In this case, I want you to do a 1/2 inch border. So you're gonna take your 1 inch here, use the middle line for the 1/2 inch, place that on the edge of your paper, and make a mark at this starting line here. And you're gonna do 2 marks at any place on the edge of this paper. Line your straight edge up to those 2 marks, and that will guarantee you a nice straight line for your 1/2 inch border. Go around and do that on all 4 sides, 2 marks per side. Line it up. Nice straight line, and then I can erase out the excess. So remember that the sketch, everything you do on the sketch needs to be nice and light so that you can erase it easily, because all of our excess lines, receding excess lines, etc. need to be able to be erased. And then your ultimate sketch is going to be covered by colored pencil, so it needs to be very light so that the colored pencil can in fact cover it. All right, there's my border. All right, so now that I have my border, I need to decide on my vanishing point. So for this assignment, you can put your vanishing point anywhere along the bottom or anywhere along the top. So if you have it to one side, then your letters are gonna kind of go around this way. If you have it over here, letters kind of here. If you put it in the middle, so forth. Same with the bottom. I am going to go with right here for my example. I'm putting it in hopefully big enough that you guys can see it, but still lightly. I don't want to dent the paper. And then I place my letters, okay? I'm gonna place my letters, as I like to call them, line letters or skeleton of your letters, the line letter, okay? I'm gonna do the word BAM with an exclamation point. So just like our example here, okay? And this is where you're going to place your size, or determine your size, your placement, you can make your letters like stagger the heights if you want, or curve it, or however you want to do it. And this is where you would make any shifts or size corrections that you might want to make. And I think I want to move my M up, which means that to keep the balance, I'm probably going to need to change my B as well. So I'm going to move my B up as well. And that is the point of doing the skeletal letters, doing the whole thing, do your line letters, the whole word before you start turning them into block. Because then you can erase just a really light line letter placement, right? Okay, I'm gonna go with this, and from here you can then do, if you look, these are straight block. You can overlap them, which I might actually do. I kind of like that. You can make your letters have flares. You can make your letter look however you want. But at this point, you're going to turn them into a block, 2D block letter. And at this point, you need to start using your straight edge. I'm going to make my B, kind of tip my B a little bit better here. I want to decide how thick I want each of my parts of my letters. So this is where I'm determining that. So that's how thick I'm gonna want everything. I like the bottom of my B to be a little bit bigger than the top, but that's just a personal preference. And then I need to make the curve kind of match the thickness that I decided for the back of my B. Okay, and then I'll erase out everything in the middle. So the line letter goes away, any connecting lines I put in, those all go away. And you can, at this point, make any adjustments that you might want to make. I think I'm pretty happy with that B. So now I'm going to create my A, and I actually, based on this B, I kind of feel like it needs to shift. So I'm going to use these lines as my outside and probably inside line. But I want the bottom. Get the bottom lines. I want this to be parallel to that. I could start to erase out here. There's a nice A. I try to match my angles here. All right, so I have the outside of my M. Now I need to make the inside, and we want the thicknesses to somewhat match. So I'm going to start here. And line it up, slide it out for the thickness that you want. Again, you want them to try to match, so eyeball that. And then we're going to do the same here. And they meet where they meet. One of the things I'm already noticing that I don't care for is how wide this is. I think I want to narrow that, so I am going to extend these. Okay, I kind of like that a little bit better. That feels a little more balanced to me, so I'm going to go with that. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to erase that line. And we'll erase all our extra lines. And again, you want to be doing this light enough that you can erase without leaving marks and without denting your paper. If you can see your eraser marks, you're drawing too dark. If you dent your paper when you go to color with the colored pencil, it's going to leave little white lines in your colored pencil. You're gonna have a really hard time getting it solid. Okay. I think I'm going to adjust this line slightly too. I'm gonna skinny that up a bit here. Just a little thinner. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna scoot my whole exclamation over here. All right. So once you're happy with your letters, everything's even, everything's where you want it, then you can start with your receding lines, okay? So with the receding lines, we're gonna go every single corner. So this is a corner, this is a corner, this is a corner, 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 corner. If the receding line would immediately go through the letter, wherever it goes through the letter, we stop. We don't draw there, okay? And wherever it doesn't go through the letter, then we draw. So we're gonna start with this corner, line it up with our vanishing point and our corner, and draw in that receding line. Very, very lightly, okay? We go to this corner, it would immediately draw through the letter, so we do not put that one in. Come to this corner, it does not, it goes, but as soon as it hits the letter, we stop, okay? This corner would immediately go through the letter, so we don't draw it. We come to this corner and to our vanishing point, and we would draw until it hits the letter right there. This corner, it immediately goes through the letter, so we do not draw it. But we need to now do our rounded curved sides. So line it up to our vanishing point and then slide until we touch the letter. We touch the letter right here, so for our lower portion of our B, there's our receding line to our vanishing point. Now we got to do this upper portion of the B, so we're going to slide to that. So to our vanishing point, to our B, and we're going to draw that line until it touches, it goes behind the B there, okay? So that's all of our receding lines that we need. Now we need to decide how deep do we want our letter to go, the depth. And I think to decide the depth of the letter, it's always the easiest on the straight lines. Personal preference, you could decide it anywhere you want. Personal preference, I think it's easiest to see what your depth is going to be where the straight lines are. So I will line this up to this straight line and I will start sliding it back, keeping it perfectly parallel until it is as deep as I want it to be. And then I will draw a line that parallels that line from the receding line to where it disappears down the letter. Okay, so parallel to the vertical line. So we have to create a parallel line to all vertical and horizontal lines. And the curved lines count as vertical and horizontal lines. So then we're going to come and we're going to start this line on the inside. It is going to follow this curve and it is going to disappear about even with where it appears on the outside, okay? So start here, same thickness, and curve it, and then have it kind of curve and disappear about even with where it appears here. Then the receding line past that letter gets to go away. We're going to do the same thing here. This is barely going to show. Okay, so that's the whole of our B. Then we're going to come and we're going to match that curve perfectly down here and up here. And you're going to try to make the width the same or look the same and match the curve. So it parallels that line, okay? Now the receding lines that continue past your letter can go away. Don't lose your vanishing point because you got to have the same vanishing point for all letters, okay? So don't erase your vanishing point. But there is our 3D B, okay? So now let's go through our A. So the A doesn't have any curved aspects of the letter, so it's just all the corners. Corner, 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 right? All of them. So line it up with our vanishing point, slide it to this first corner, and draw the line down to the vanishing point. Now we're going to test this corner to the vanishing point. It's going to go right through the letter, so we don't need it. Let's come to this corner. To the vanishing point. Try this one. Oh, there's going to be this tiny little sliver, it looks like. Maybe? Barely. But if we come to this one, of course that one goes all the way through. This one goes all the way to the vanishing point. And this one all the way to the vanishing point, right? So this one you don't really see. There's like the most minuscule little sliver. It's too small for us to really deal with. If we come to this one, it's going to be the same situation. It's going to basically go behind the letter, and this one goes behind the letter. So we don't need any more for our A. It's just the bottom that we're going to see at this angle, and then whatever's in here. Now, here's our depth that we want. We want it to try and match. So when this is our longest straight line, our edge here. So we're gonna slide it back and try to make it match the depth there, which is, I would say, around here. And we gotta go right there. Okay, so that's like a hole that goes to the background, and this is the edge of your A. You can't see this edge on this side. Now I can use this line to create the bottom and to create this bottom. And since I made my the feet of my A the same on the same plane here, I can slide back until it touches here, and I can make it go across on both sides. If you do funky letters and you make one longer and one shorter, then you can't do that. But since I did, I can. And then we need this line right here, but I want it to be perfectly parallel to that one. So I'm gonna slide back till it touches that. There we go. There's my A, and I can erase all these receding lines. Again, don't lose your vanishing point. You want your vanishing point. And then we will M. Again, we don't have any sort of round spots. We just have corners. So corner, 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 corner. All of those need to be checked. Okay, so from this corner to our vanishing point, connect to the straight edge. It is going to hit this letter. So we'll stop there, okay? You could bring it all the way through, but you're just gonna end up erasing this, so I'm not gonna. And then this corner, I come to this next corner, it goes through the letter. Come to this corner, it goes through the letter. But if I come down to this corner, it does not. So I'll draw it in. Same with this corner. Line it up with the vanishing point. This corner goes through the letter, so I don't need it. This corner does not, so I do need it. This corner does not, so I do need that too. But if I was to check this corner, it goes through the letter. But this corner right here does not. I need a little piece. We're gonna have a little bit of a wall inside there. This corner would, so again, those are all the pieces that we need. All our receding lines. Now again, I need the depth. I want it to somewhat match this one. Longest line is right here. So that's what I'm gonna use to eyeball my depth here. So I'm gonna slide it back until we're about where I wanna be. Draw my line down. And then I will use that to follow, right? So I'll come here, line up my two legs, slide back. So it's perfectly parallel. Okay. Oh, I need this line. We didn't put this line in. This corner, I have this corner, but I don't have this corner. So I need to put that corner in because I didn't. And I caught that right now, so there we go. So there's the line for that letter, right? Or that piece. So here, I can come up right here and I can make this even. So parallel to this line, slide it back where it touches and come up till it touches the letter, right? So this receding line can go, this one can go, this and this, but I haven't done this wall, right? This line or this line, so I have to do those. They don't really touch anywhere, so I'm going to have to make this one sort of match that depth. And then I'll make this one match here. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that these don't really match, and they should. So I'm gonna change this out because I didn't like how that looks. I want this to be more like that. Which means I now need to make this line match here. So you want it to look right. You need to evaluate that it looks like it matches. So to me, that looks better, like it matches. If I was to run this back to make it match, to get the width, it would, my line is going to be way back there. So it's fine just like that. We can't see the parallel line to this one at this angle. So I don't need to draw it in. And I can take out my receding lines past my letter. I don't need them anymore. There's my N. So now I'm gonna come through and we're gonna do our exclamation point. So lining up with my vanishing point, line it up to my exclamation, hits the letter there so I can stop there. Come down to this point. I can run it all the way. This point is going to hit my circle, right? My dot, so I don't need to put it in for the dot. For my dot, I'm gonna line it up here and I'm gonna run it till it touches that edge. And the same on the other side, right? Till where it touches. Uh-oh, I got off my vanishing point. You gotta make sure you're on your vanishing point too, for sure. There we go. So there's for my dot, and then this is on the other corner, but it would come straight through my letter, so I don't need that one. Now, if you'll notice, I've curved this line, so I cannot make it parallel by using the straight edge, see, because it's not straight. So I'm going to kind of eyeball that and then follow. And how deep do I want it to be? And then I have to mimic that line. And I do it really, really light so I can make adjustments if necessary before I kind of say, okay, yeah, that is the line I want, and darken it up. And then this one also curves, so I'm gonna need to curve this, and it's gonna go behind my circle here. So that's fine. There's my circle, which means I need to kind of make it match here and then make it follow that, parallel this line, okay? And then that is my exclamation point, so I take these out now. The other thing you could do with the exclamation is just make it a little bit larger and shade it like a sphere, but since we're practicing 1 point, we'll use it, the 1 point on it. Okay, so now I'm done. I don't need my vanishing point anymore. I can take that out, all my lines, clean it up really good. From here, now we need to decide on the little background detail and these little extra details here. Okay, so I like to get the words in first, and then you can create that background around the words. Of course, the words can overlap the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you could do like a bubble. At this point, you should, well, before you even started, you should have looked at the inspiration images on Google Classroom that I provided for you. Or you could do a Google search of comic book words and get your inspiration. There's many kinds of backgrounds and details that you could put on this, but we'll do the one that's in my example. And you just draw it around, and where it would hit the letter, skip. So kind of come out probably and come back. And then again, at this point, you could say, okay, well, I don't like that you can't see the point here, so maybe we'll just shift it slightly so that you would. And, you know, make any little adjustments. Maybe this one's too big for you. Maybe you want to, you know, just change it around a little. It doesn't matter. You can, once you're happy with it, then you can leave it and you can start to add your other details. So we'll do these little lines. So these little lines are basically they taper at either end and they get wider and skinnier, and they are random. You can put them in however you want, but some of them are double and some are one. You could make some be triple if you wanted. Some overlap, some don't. They're different lengths. None of them are the same. So just kind of go with it. And again, when you finish them, if you needed to adjust, you could. Okay, so there are my details. That is the completed sketch. There's another one with a couple different details. And then from here, it's all cleaned up. You would want to get the kneadable eraser or something and kind of come through and lighten your pencil. Okay, so here's our kneadable eraser, and we can just come through and roll it over and lighten up some of the pencils so that it is easier to cover with our colored pencil. And then you can get started with your color. This way it doesn't erase your sketch, but it definitely lightens it up for you. Still, you want to have drawn lightly so that you didn't dent your paper and you don't have problems with the little white lines through your color. That kind of lightens up your whole sketch. And now you can start coloring. And when you choose your colors, choose colors that are contrasting to each other, okay? All right.